Good Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. Today's Stag Sunday. So, let's talk about a stag. Pocket knife, an interesting one. Beretta. Just a nylon. Little belt sheath, Velcro, not super high quality. I'm going to try to keep this one short and sweet. Keyword, try. I'm doing something a little different today. I love Sheffield cutlery. I love German cutlery, American cutlery. But let's talk about some Italian knives today. Before, in my ignorance, I did not have much of an appreciation for knives from Italy, but I've kind of grown a little bit fond of them. There are a lot of quality knives that come out of Italy, mainly Maniago, if I'm saying that right, in the city of Maniago. It's kind of the equivalent of Solingen. Maniago is to Italy what Solingen is to Germany. It's where many quality blades are made in Italy. This is a very cool pattern. I would call this a sportsman's knife. This is from Beretta. Got a big, I don't know if you'd quite call that a clip point. That line right there is pretty well straight with the curvature towards the spine. We'll just call it a clip point. It's kind of a blend of a couple of different styles, and it has a pretty wicked saw, bone saw, 2 rows of teeth. Very grabby cap lifter, for when you start getting thirsty halfway through processing your game, your kill. And this is a skinning, gutting, breasting blade. It's unsharpened here at the tip, so once you make an incision into the skin, you can slip that tip in and just run this blade along the length of hide or skin that you want to cut for gutting, caping, breasting out birds. Now this is a chunk of a folding knife. The main blade has lockback. And it's got some pretty nice stag. Little bit of pith, but it's pretty minimal. It's nice solid slabs. It's got a small, really small lanyard hole, but it's there. Everything's tight, everything looks good. Brass liners on the outside. I don't know if those are stainless in the middle or nickel silver. But a gorgeous, gorgeous knife from Beretta. But as y'all know, I like contract knives. And Beretta doesn't make their own knives, so guess what? This is one you kind of gotta do some research on. Made in Italy, stainless steel. Inox, inoxidable. W 1.4 4116. That is the designation of this stainless steel. It is similar to the steel that Victorinox uses. Sachs, Swiss Army knives. So who actually made this for Beretta? Interestingly enough, Beretta still has a similar pattern. It's got a little different style on the blade, but it still has the other two blades. Available on their website still for $120 with wood handles. From my research, this knife was made by AGA Campolin, Campolin, in Italy. They had a house brand called Falcon, or Falcon Famous Blades. They had a couple of designations on the Falcon company over the years, and I guarantee you y'all have seen them and possibly own them, because this company, Campolin, is very well known for their switchblades. They're Italian stilettos. They're still in business today. Very high quality, high end switchblades out of Italy. And this knife right here screams quality to me. The steel might be a little bit on the lower end side, but very, very usable. We know how good the steel in Sachs are, so this is comparable. Not exactly the same, but comparable. So, interestingly enough, Campolin made the Kissing Crane stiletto knives from the 70s until the sellout of the Kissing Crane trademark around 2000. A lot of people think that the Kissing Crane stilettos marked Germany were made in Germany, but from my research, they were made by Falcon, aka Campolin, in Italy. Even when they were marked Germany, I don't know how they got around marking them with Germany, if they just finished them out in Germany and exported them. But you know, the later years, the Kissing Crane stilettos, the stag handle stilettos, and were all marked made in Italy, and the price tags were quite a bit cheaper. I've owned a couple of them, and for the money, man, the quality was really good. I was impressed with them. I don't have them anymore. I'm kind of kicking myself for that one, but they're still around. Still plenty of them around. Still time to pick them up. They're starting to get collectible. They dropped the Falcon brand around 2006, give or take. And I'm assuming because once the Kissing Crane brand was sold out and started being manufactured in China, the competition probably just drove them out of that market for the non-auto folding locking stiletto knives that they were producing for Kissing Crane. But this knife's got good polish all the way around, even in the belly. I've been impressed by Campolin knives and the Kissing Crane knives from them. There's a lot of quality knives that come out of Maniago. Like I said before, in my ignorance, I just thought they were cheap and didn't give them much thought. But I'm kind of digging into them a little deeper now. I'd love to pick up a vintage switchblade from Campolin. They kind of demand a premium now. Even their newer produced knives are still pretty expensive for, po' boys like us. But maybe one day. So here's my Beretta stag-handled sportsman knife, 3-blade. Very beautiful example. And by the way, if you're in the market for something unique like this for your collection, there's one on eBay right now for buy it now. $90, free shipping, no sheath though. So if this is one that makes you say, that's what I'm talking about. One of y'all go nab it up. I got a better deal than that on this, but that's the only one that's got a reasonable price on it. The rest of these that I'm finding are, well, upwards of $100. So in case one of y'all's wanting to snag up something like that for your collection, y'all go get it. But the Italian knives, there's a lot of history there in Maniago. It's kind of hard to find history on some of them. Being here in the States, a lot of them aren't as well documented, especially some of the lesser known makers. And here's a little bonus. Here's another knife made in Italy. I'll show y'all. No, this is not genuine stag, obviously. This is just some form of synthetic plastic staglon. It's starting to peel a little bit, but not horrible. This is another what I would call a sportsman's knife. And these interesting shaped bolsters marked caliber 16 and caliber 12. These are shell pullers. For back in the day, Italy produced some very high quality shotguns, scatter guns, double barrels, over and under, side by side, still do. And used to, break-over shotguns didn't have extractors. They wouldn't pop the shell out for you. It would simply, they had extractors, but not ejectors. They wouldn't pop open and eject the shell. They would simply slide the hull back out of the breech just far enough to get a hold of it. And y'all know shotgun shells can get hung up sometimes, especially older ammunition, older guns. Quality wasn't as good as it is today, so people had shell puller knives. This says caliber 16 and 12, but we call this 12 gauge, 16 gauge. Here's a 12 gauge shell. You would use this to extract your shotgun hull out of your break-over shotgun. This is the only shell puller knife I currently own. I'd like to pick one of the higher-end German ones up, but they are getting hard to find. They bring a premium. Back to the po' boy thing, it's kind of hard to shell the cash out for them. I'd like to get my hands on one, but this is my only current example of a shell puller knife. Also from Italy. Somebody really liked this blade. Let me see if I can get this oil wiped off here. This tang stamp is hard to see because of the shell puller bolsters. And there's not a lot of info on this company that I can find. A Centazzo, 2 Z's, and it looks like FL. But we got a main blade, a small clip, cap lifter, screwdriver, awl slash punch, whatever you want to call it, corkscrew, bail. Oh, yeah. Can opener. Pretty neat pattern, and there are a lot of these. There's still some of these offered today in a modern knife. I forget the name of the company, but there's a lot of older German stag-handled knives with shell pullers, and a lot of Italian knives with the shell pullers. So if y'all happen to see that style of bolster, now you know what it is. It's for pulling your shotgun holes from your single shot, double barrel, over and under, side by side, break over shotgun. Now, Levine's list, a Centazzo Angelo E. Figli, Maniago, Italy, as a manufacturer. Unknown date for beginnings to 1950. Then it lists Angelo Centazzo, Patton, and Figli from 1950 to present. I'm not so sure that is correct. There's still a Centazzo in business in Italy, but they deal in wood and horn and just mainly handle materials. They don't make knives. I'm going to assume that they are descendants from Angelo Centazzo, but maybe I should shoot them an email, and maybe I can get a little more info on this Centazzo and date this one. I'm going to assume that this come from the 50s or 60s, but when Centazzo actually quit making knives, I'm having a hard time finding that. So I've got more digging to do on this. If any of you Italian knife aficionados happen to see this and could enlighten me on this one, I would appreciate it. But anyways, guys, here's a couple of Italian knives for Stag Sunday. Don't overlook some of these Italian knives. They're high quality. The cutlery industry's been in Maniago for centuries. Very rich history. Very cool read if y'all get a chance. And if any of y'all out there have some examples from Maniago and y'all have a channel, heck, tag me in it. Man, I'd love to watch it. I want to learn more about them. But there's my stag-handled Beretta sportsman's knife, made by a G.A. Campolin out of Maniago, Italy. Hope y'all enjoyed this, and I hope someone snags up that other one on eBay. Y'all let me know. This is Hillbilly Proud, guys. Stag Sunday. Y'all have a good one.